Text is usually added to your schematic when you add instances, wires, and pins. These could be instance names, labels, or parameters. In the case of connectivity, it could be wire labels and pin names. You can directly edit the text by going to the Edit menu, choosing Text, and then clicking the text on the schematic. You could also directly double-click on the text or parameter to edit in place. The text gets highlighted and you can enter your new text. You can do this without invoking the Edit Properties form that you will see in the next slide. Choose an instance and then press Q on the keyboard, or from the Edit menu, choose Properties and then Objects to open the Edit Object Properties form that you see here. You can view all the cell properties on this form. You can view the parameters specified in the component description format and you can set their values. You can choose to make the property display visible or invisible using the display option. You can edit multiple properties at the same time, and you can select multiple objects to edit and then invoke this form. The next and previous buttons highlight single objects in a selected set. While drawing a schematic, you may sometimes delete several instances in your cell view and would like to keep track of things because it would change the numbering of your instances. You could renumber the instances to make the numbers consecutive. From the Edit menu, you can choose Renumber Instances to open a form with the same name. The renumbering sequence depends on the order that the symbols were added to the schematic. You can sequence instances by filling the voids, and if you choose another format, it will enable the Start Resulting Sequence with Index field. Here you can type the number you want the renumbering to start with. You can set the scope, whether it should be for just the cell view opened, its complete hierarchy, or the entire library. You can choose any master to apply the renumbering to all the instances of the schematic. You can also choose the same master option, after which the form will expand and ask you to specify the library, cell, and view that contains the instances to be renumbered. When you enable the verbose option, reports are visible in the CIW about the old and new numbering for each renumbering sequence. You can use the distribute command to distribute and arrange objects. The distribute command can be accessed from the toolbar and also from the Edit menu. You can choose to distribute the objects vertically or horizontally. On this slide, you see an example of using the distribute vertical option. Look at the instance placements before selecting the command. Now, once you choose the distribute vertical option, look at how the instances are now distributed. In the image on the right, you can see that how you have a perfect distribution or gap once the command has been selected. On this slide, you see an example of the distribute horizontal command. In the first image, you can see the placement of the instances prior to using the command. You can then select the objects and use the toolbar or Edit menu to make your distribution choice. In the last image, you can see how the placement of objects looks like after using the horizontal command. The Align option is especially useful when you have a lot of instances and you need to connect them. Sometimes you may not be able to place them the way you like to make the schematic look neat and compact. You can use the Align command in this scenario. Similar to the Distribute command, the Align command can be accessed from the Edit menu or from the toolbar. You can see the toolbar options over here. Then you can select the instances you want to align. Here is an example of using the Align bottom option. On the schematic, you can see that the transistor M0 is misaligned with M3. They have been placed and connected. Now, if I choose the Align bottom option, M0 and M3 get aligned to the bottom portion of the schematic while staying true to the connectivity. Here we see an example of using the Align left and Align right commands. Suppose your instances M0 and M3 are connected as shown here. This is the same original connection you saw on the previous slide. Now on choosing Align left, M3 gets aligned with M0, which is at the left of the schematic, And suppose you chose align right, then M0 gets aligned with M3 since M3 is at the right of the schematic. A couple of more examples on this slide on using the align vertical and align horizontal commands. Suppose your instances M0 and M3 are connected as shown here. This is the same original connection you saw on the previous slide. Now on choosing align vertical, M0 gets aligned with M3 vertically, maintaining the connectivity. And suppose you choose align horizontal, then M3 gets aligned to M0, still maintaining the connectivity. Sometimes you could have overlapping instances when you're dealing with a great number of instances in a dense schematic. You can actually check for these when aligning. A marker gets created and you can deal with these instances later. When using the align command, press F3 on the keyboard to bring up the align options form that you see on the screen. Enable the option here to check overlapping instances. So in this case, there is an overlap during alignment and a check marker is created on the instance. For multiple such occurrences, you can then go to the check menu and choose Find Markers to bring up a form that allows you to view details of these markers.